Hey everyone, James Kratch here, NJ.com. Welcome to my San Francisco hotel room. And looks like this might be a kind of tumultuous, crazy. It's been a wild Giants season. It's been a wild Giants week. It feels like this might all kind of come to a head on Sunday into Monday. Obviously, the ESPN report that Ben McAdoo could be fired tomorrow on Monday after the Giants play the Raiders here on Sunday across the bridge in Oakland. And this feels very real. I think there's a very, very strong chance that Ben McAdoo's time as Giants head coach is about to come to an end. Just a couple of quick thoughts. One, this would be a pretty historic occurrence if the Giants do fire Ben Monday or even before the season ends. They haven't fired a coach during the season since 1976. They haven't had a coach be fired before he finished 2 full seasons since Roy Andrews in 1930. So think about it. The Giants haven't fired a coach before he's gotten through 2 full seasons since before World War II, since the Great Depression. And moreover, the Giants haven't had a coach only go 2 seasons since Ray Handley. So this is not something that usually happens to this organization. And I think it just kind of speaks to the gravity of how things have broken down here. I think it's fair to say that aside from the Cleveland Browns, this is maybe one of the bigger laughingstock organizations in the NFL right now, which is stunning considering they entered the year with Super Bowl expectations. I think it's very clear that despite what Ben McAdoo has said, they were not on the same page about benching Eli Manning. I think it's very clear that you saw the anger. I mean, I know there was no video or photo of John Mara when he spoke to reporters in the press room at the Giants facility on Wednesday. He was angry. You could tell that he was upset and embarrassed about how the season has gone and how the Eli Manning transition happened. It did not go well. I think it's very obvious that Ben McAdoo botched the plan, or at least botched the approach of the plan. So now they have this situation. One thing that comes to mind is, who's going to be next if they do fire McAdoo. A lot of people bring up Steve Spagnuolo, obviously head coaching experience. Giant, he's built in the Giants' history. I had one person, familiar with the team's thinking, tell me a couple of weeks ago when we thought this was kind of a really long shot that he thought Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator, would be the guy that John Mara and Steve Tisch turned to as the interim head coach. I mean, I think Spags, Sullivan, one way or the other, it's a guy who I think the Giants can trust to kind of stabilize this thing and bring them forward for the final 4 games of the season. I don't think there's really that big of a difference. I think it's probably just a choice. I do think Sullivan, because he's on the offense, presents some, I mean, look, the defense has had a lot of their own problems, discipline issues. I could see where the Giants feel they've got to go with Sullivan because for the most part, there have been no real issues on the offensive side of the ball in terms of dysfunction and tumult and everything. But what I want to know is this. If you start Geno Smith on Sunday against the Raiders, I assume that's going to happen as planned, and you do fire Ben on Monday morning, what are you going to do at quarterback? Because I think even though the fan base will be happy and relieved that Ben McAdoo is gone, if you're going to have the new head coach, interim head coach, go back to Eli Manning, then you basically ruined Eli Manning's streak for Geno Smith to get 1 start, and then you fired Ben the next day. And I just think that's going to create even more problems. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see, are you going to see a new head coach come in and basically say, this was mishandled. Obviously, that's why I'm the interim head coach, because this was mishandled from ownership's perspective, but we're sticking with the plan. We're going to stick with Davis Webb and Geno Smith going forward. I think it's going to be really interesting. Davis Webb reports he's expected to not be inactive for this game against the Raiders. I have to wonder, look, if you're not going to give Davis Webb his first career start against the Cowboys next week, then I feel like you can't even do it until Christmas Eve against the Cardinals. Do you really want Davis Webb to make his first career start against the Eagles at home, that pass rush, that defense, with 30,000, 40,000 Eagles fans in the stands? I just think that's a recipe for disaster. You're putting the kid in a really bad spot. But I don't know. Maybe Eli will be the starting quarterback. I just feel like you can't not fire Ben. I think a lot of people say you should have fired him on Tuesday or Wednesday and blown up the plan right there. But to let the streak end today and then fire Ben tomorrow, I think a lot of fans will take issue with that. And look, I just think this is kind of a stunning situation that we've gotten to this point. I mean, they were 11-5 last year, and yeah, there were some issues, McAdoo, with the media, the way he communicated, and he says some zany things, and the offense has really never been any good. But they were 11-5. They had Super Bowl expectations. I don't think anyone ever thought this happened. If he does get dismissed on Monday, or even if he gets dismissed at the end of the season, and he survives the next couple weeks, it's a stunning fall that I think people in this town and around this team are going to be talking about for years. I mean, the Giants are broken at this point, and I think that there's a lot of changes coming forward. You know, the Eli situation. You know, I just think that the Giants have major issues, and it feels like today might be the day, Sunday into Monday here in the Bay Area, then going back home, where it kind of all boils over and something seismic happens in a Giants organization. So those are quick thoughts here. We're here in San Francisco. We'll go over the Bay for Oakland the game. Probably be hopping on some red eyes. It's flight change season for the Giants press corps at this point. And keep it here at NJ.com. We'll have everything, and whatever happens, we'll have it, and we'll have it covered from all angles. See you later.